Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for passing by. Thank you so much for subscribing. And thank you very much for watching my videos. You are greatly appreciated. Now, I recently did a video on the PNP party, and I was speaking about Isaac Buchanan. I was speaking on so many persons in society that are rewarded, even when they are of questionable character, their background is not so clean, and stuff like that. And I spoke on the society seem to be overlooking or bypassing those who abide by the law, those who decide to stay in school and get an education, those who decide to acquire a skill to forward themselves and be productive members of society. The society seems to not give those persons any form of attention, and they seem to focus heavily on people who are of questionable character and stuff like that, and giving them great opportunities. And I also spoke on the fact that Isaac Buchanan is running for a position that I believe is well deserved by someone who chooses to abide by the law and follow the pattern that is designed for them, which is to become a productive member of society and contribute to nation building. And, persons are going to disagree, persons are going to agree. What I noticed that is happening also, like I said in the video, is that there are persons out there. What is happening now is that people are sending their kids to school, and when they graduate from school, they are working for persons who are coming by money, persons who are coming by gains. You understand? It's not a success. It's not a hard work story. It's ill-gotten gains. And these people come and it was a success for them. And so they establish businesses, all sorts of corporation and stuff like that. And then you have people who work hard, who stayed in school and stuff like that, who stayed in school, got an education or got a skill, and they have to come and work for these type of people. When they work for this type of people, their character come into play, come into question. And so they have to sacrifice their dignity because they have to conform to what they say. And oftentimes you may not like the things that you have to subject yourself to. Case in point, I remember when I was working for a particular individual at a particular establishment, and this was a person who was known to be, associated with certain type of lifestyle. You understand me? That is rather questionable. And I realized that the individual wanted me to subject myself to a lot of questionable things, that it's unbecoming of a woman, it's unbecoming of a professional worker, it's unbecoming of an individual who has integrity. And I realized that they wanted that because for them it looks good, or for them it is okay, and because they had to subject themselves, or they choose to subject themselves to doing certain things to get a come-up lifestyle, they believe that everyone else who comes under them or come inside their realm should subject themselves to the same thing. And this is what I'm speaking of, that takes place in this society. When you empower people who are of questionable character, they are going to find ways to go around the system. They are going to find ways to go around the law. They are going to find ways to subject, or for you to sacrifice your decency in order to please them. This is what happens. And so people have to look into it. So I'm not coming at a person, I'm not knocking a person down, but we have to speak the truth. When you decide to empower certain people in society, the great underclass, as I always say, will never be the ruling class. If they become the ruling class, it's going to lead to anarchy. It's going to lead to a breakdown of governance. It's going to break society. And when it's broken, then you're going to find ways. You're going to have to find creative ways in order to fix it, in order to curtail crime, in order to curtail so many things in the society, to get back its morality, for children to maintain their innocence and stuff like that. And so we have to be careful of the type of people that we're giving heavy attention to. I speak about it so many times, and people think it is a joke because you have a sudden mundane life or boring life. And so because of such, you believe that whatever it is that's out there should be entertainment and it should be amusing. Everything is funny, and it's actually not. When you get into society, when you graduate from an institution, whether it be a skilled academia or one of that is grammar, once you leave those institutions and you get into the working field, you're going to meet upon people who are bosses, not people who are managers, not people who are business oriented or goal oriented, but people who come by a lot of money and they just want to boss people around. They have no respect. They're unprofessional. They come into the working environment and they do not respect their staff. They also want people to set each other against each other. So you set workers against each other because you believe that's the way to keep your business going. That's the way persons won't go in cahoots and work contrary or do unethical things. And when you look into that, it's unbecoming It's unbecoming. It's a breakdown in society that you're going to get, because other persons coming up are going to believe that's the way how it should be. And that's not the case. And that's what is happening right now in Jamaica. So many persons are coming up, and when they come up, you understand, you graduated from an institution and you're working for them. You have on hands-on knowledge based on the theory, and also practical for those who are skilled. But when you get into the field with these type of people, it's not so. It's whatever it is that they want you to do, conduct yourself how they want you to conduct yourself, not under the realm or the guise of professionalism. And so I'm showing you guys how deep the rabbit hole is. And that's the reason you have to be careful of who you're empowering in society. So for those who think this is a joke, this is no joke. This is no joke. You send your daughters to school, and when they graduate from an institution or skilled institution, and they go out in the working field, they're meeting up on people who come by money in all different sorts of ways. They want them to sacrifice their decency and their integrity, lying with these people, sleeping around, doing this, doing that, helping to getting into clandestine activities and stuff like that, in order to help the boss get where he wants to go, or to make him feel better, or to let him feel good, or to boost his manhood and stroke his ego. These are the things that your daughters that you're sending to school are going to have to subject themselves to. So when you sit down and you think that it is okay to empower questionable characters and people out there who have a life of crime, and they're celebrating it and all these type of things, when you send your children to school and they graduate and you're proud of them, that they have how many CXCs, they have a diploma, they have a degree, they have an associate degree, they have this, and you're so proud of them. When they get into the working field, it's a whole new ball game. It's a whole different ball game. Everything is not like that. And if you have so many of these type of people who end up becoming boss, then you're going to have a breakdown in the society, because persons are going to come up and say, okay, this is what I did when I was working there to get by and to remain in my job. So you should conform and do the same thing. And clearly it's not anything that has to do with being professional. And so when you're trying to avoid these type of things, then you become a problem. People see you as a problem, because if, for example, you are associated with a religion, then morality comes into play. If you're a secular individual and you still have your integrity with you, morality still comes into play. So there are certain things you're not going to do because you weren't raised that way. But for those who are the underclass, who becomes the ruling class, then you're going to have a breakdown, if not a brain drain, where educated people are just going to leave, skilled workers are just going to leave, and allow those who want to disrupt the island and do whatever it is that they want to do through what the word called corruption. That's what they are going to do. And then what you're going to find is a system of governance trying to solve this problem that just arises. And solving this problem becomes a Maslow's law. You solve one problem and then you create another problem. And then another problem is created and you have to find a way to solve it. And this is what's going to eventually happen constantly in this society, because of the way it started. And it started from simply empowering the wrong type of people. I need people to understand that there are individuals out there that you can't change, but you can also encourage others not to follow them. And it's up to them if they want to listen. Now, if they want to follow into that rabbit hole and do as they see someone getting notoriety doing, that's clearly up to them. But they should know that their outcome will be completely different. And a lot of these persons that you are following that are influential in society, they're not sleeping good at night. A lot of them can't sleep at night. A lot of them are alcoholic. A lot of them have heavy substance abuse problem, because a lot of things that they do play on their mind, or they have a deep, dark problem that they're trying to mask through substance abuse. So I need a lot of persons to get that through their head and stop thinking that it's cool to empower questionable people in society. Sometimes you should scroll away, click away, block, delete, just move away from things like that. Depart from things that are negative. And that's why I speak on these type of things. Why is it that the society is rewarding bad behavior? Why is it that people are giving people attention who have bad behavior? People are not contributing anything positive to social media, to the wider society. These are the people who are constantly being empowered. These are the people who are giving endorsement. These are the people who are getting bookings. While you have someone out there with an actual talent, with actual education, who is actually going somewhere and is goal-oriented, are being blinded. They are being blighted, I should say. They are being stopped in their track. They can't get the opportunity to launch. And of course, it's going to be a bother, because nobody goes to school to become a failure. Nobody stay in school to become a failure. No one graduate from an institution and decide that they want to be a fiasco. They want their life to be a failure. They want their life to be a flop. People go there because they want to contribute, they want to better themselves. And so they commit to having a skill, they commit to having an education, they commit to abiding by the laws of the land. And with that commitment, there has to be some sort of acknowledgement that you're going to constantly give these people. So the future generation coming up won't be a wretched rich, thinking that they're entitled to everything, because they're going to abuse you when you become the older folks in society. Because you simply do not have the physical power or the manpower or the financial power to fight back. So you have to be careful of the precedent that you're trying to set. Everything comes with personal responsibility and a civic duty. And you have the responsibility to make better decisions. And it's up to you. Nobody can make it for you. But just remember that there are two roads, and whatever it is that you decide to do on that road, you have to deal with the ramification of it. You have to deal with the consequences. Whatever decision that you make, that's what you're going to get in return while you're on that road. You want a better life, you want something better, you want to be goal-oriented, you want to accomplish something meaningful in life, be respected, you have to leave off that road and get on another one. So I am sick and I am tired of this type of people who are constantly being promoted, being highlighted, being seen, being rewarded in the society. The island is too small for that. People are constantly comparing themselves to the United States. A country that has over 300 million people should never be compared with an island of merely 3 million people. It's not logics. Because in the United States, it's so big, you can get away from whatever ill that you see around you. You want to stay in recluse, you want to stay somewhere quiet, you want to live somewhere peaceful that probably has no people trending in society, things that are trending in society, things that are major distraction. You can get that life. You can move somewhere. If you're gonna do that on the island, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go where you can get peace. And that's what's happening right now. Even neighborhoods where people are paying their money to live, is being inoculated by high crime. And now you see what's happening in the society. It's going to turn into a big conflagration. Yes, the Prime Minister, yes, the Minister of National Security is doing a lot to curtail crime and to keep it down. But as an example, should it not continue, then it's going to turn into a big conflagration. And that's the same thing that's taking place in society when you keep rewarding bad behavior, when you keep thinking that the underclass should be the ruling class. Shiftless people who have no ambition and not going anywhere and subscribe to degeneracy should not be highlighted. They should stay in the tunnel where they are, or in the pit. You should never go out and try to highlight these people. Oh, this man sing a song about spitting in mouth. You should not highlight him. You should let that song bury in the gutter. I care zero who the person is. A person singing song about degrading women, he should never have gotten the highlight. None of them, I don't care who it is. They should have never gotten the highlight. They should have remained in the pit where they are. Because here's the thing. Mr. and Mrs. Upper Echelon can listen to the music because they don't apply to their daily life, and they don't have a man or a woman that's going to force them or influence them to do what they don't want to do. They have their life, they have their money, they have their bank, they have their connection, their networking, so they can afford to deviate from that which they listen as mere recreation. When you're in the ghetto or the at-risk community, you are not afforded such privilege. It becomes your lifestyle. Whatever the entertainer is saying, that is your lifestyle. That's how you are expected to behave. And if you decide to be different, which means that you're an upstanding individual that holds character and decency, then you're seen as a pariah, as an outcast, as a deviant. You are the problem. So that's why, and I wish that people from at-risk community would wake up and realize. I wish that you guys would wake up and realize that you're just a pawn in their game. But it's so unfortunate that a lot of you want to remain stupid, a lot of you want to remain blind, and so good for you. You are leading your own self to your own doom. And probably your bloodline with you. So it's either you're going to make the right decision or you're going to make the wrong one. It's either of two. You're either going to make the right decision or make the wrong one. make the right decision or make the wrong one. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day and may God bless you. Bye bye.